And then verse 12, the last verse, he says this. So the law is holy. Look at what he says. Now, guys, he says, you think I am hammering the law. I'm going to war against the law, some of you. He says, I want you to understand I love the law. I respect the law. He says, matter of fact, the law is holy. And the commandment is holy and righteous and good. He calls the law three things: holy and righteous and good. He says the command is holy, righteous, good because it reveals God, who is holy, who is righteous, and who is good. He says it's holy. Holy, the word holy means set apart. It means separated. And listen, if you've got a hard copy Bible with you or with your home, and I know here I use my iPad or my iPhone at home, and even when I study, I'm on my computer, different computer programs. But you got a hard copy Bible. What's it say on it? The Holy Bible. Holy means it's separate. It's set apart. It's not like any other book. It's separate from any other book. It's set apart from any other book. It's not like a good novel. It's not like a biology book. It's not like a morality book. It is completely other than, set apart, holy, right? Well, God is holy. The command is holy because God gave the command, and God is holy. It means God is set apart. God is separate. He's set apart and he's separate from sin. He is other than. He's set apart and separate than you and me, than us. He is other than, right? So he's holy. And he gives us the commandments, and they are holy. The law is holy because it tells us how to live a life that is set apart, that is separate from the cultural worldview, makes people go, wow, that is a different life. That is a life that is set apart, that's completely holy, other than, and different. So the law is good because it marks us out as different people. It tells us how to live different than the cultural worldview. So he says it's holy. So that's good. He says it's righteous. Now, righteous means that it's just and right. It doesn't make unjust demands. That's important because a lot of people think, well, God's law is sometimes unfair. I mean, God gives unfair rules. I mean, come on, he gave these commands thousands of years ago. I mean, look at all the technological advances that we've made. Look at how we think. I mean, man, some of God's law is just unfair and it's out of date, and God says, no. It's righteous, which means it's never unfair. It's always right because God is always right. And when I violate it, I'm always wrong because God is always right. If it was wrong in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, it is wrong today according to God's moral law because it's absolute. It doesn't change, right? And so we need to understand it's holy, it's set apart, and it's right. It's also good. When God said it's good, he says that it is for our good. That's what Paul meant. It's for our good. Many people think that God gave us his commandments and they restrict our fun. God didn't give his law to restrict our fun. He gave his law to give us life. It's for our good. When he says, don't murder someone, we could say, oh, well, that would be good. Yeah, you'd spend life in jail, right? I mean, but when he says, don't have sex with someone else's wife, we think, but I don't know in this moment, or don't have sex outside of marriage. We think, I don't know in this moment. I'm hard. There's going to be times in the situations when you're going to play the situational ethics and situational morality where you think, I don't know, the situation dictates, and you need to always go back and remember God's law is absolute. If he says don't do it, it means never. If he says don't do it, it means you're not the exception to the rule. Go with that because I promise you, when you violate God's law because they're for your good, you always bring misery, not life, when you violate it. Always, because they're good. God's law is good. And so that's what he says. He says, don't think that I have dissed the law. Don't think I have battered the law. I'm not trying to hammer the law. I'm telling you that the law is holy, it's righteous, and it's good.